Hi everyone, today we'll be starting part 1 of our 3-part webinar series where we'll be covering a general demo of the entire software. So OpenSolar is divided in three zones. You have your home zone, your project zone, and your control zone. Right now we're in the home zone, and this is where all your projects are going to start from. From here all the way at the bottom, we have, for example, our recent tab. This is going to give you an overview of your recent projects, as well as your assigned projects and recently updated projects. Your activity one will show you all the information for upcoming activities, as well as customers' activity. From here, you can see who viewed your proposal, how long they viewed it for, any email invitation that was sent, as well as other items that you can review from right here. If you click on the overview, it'll give you an overview of all of your projects right now. It'll show you what stage each of your project is on, which is quite useful. You can actually click into this ones and it'll take you into the project zone. So right here, this is where your project will start from. All you have to do is start typing in your address. And then the system will start looking for the address for you. You click on it, and then you just need to verify that that's the actual home that you want to start building on. Now here in the corner, you have a few options that you can select from. You have the Create Project. This will take you into the Info tab of your project. The Create Energy will take you into the Energy tab. The middle one will take you into the Sign tab, and then the last one will take you into the Manage tab. So let's go ahead and hit Create Project, and let's go into that Info tab and start filling in some information for the project. So the info tab is where you're going to add all the information for your project. Then here you're going to have your contact. If you're adding a brand new contact for the first time, then you would enter their information in here. If you're using a contact that you've used in previous projects, then you can select the assign existing contact. And there's a little drop down in here that you can find your contact. You can type in, for example, their name, their email or phone number if there's one stated. The system will look for that, and then you just click on it, and that contact adds itself into your project. From here, you have the address information. You have any sales and marketing if you want to enter that information. You have your site details in here. Any system summary once an actual system is built. The sales tab will give you all the information once your customer actually accepts your proposal. The installation tab, you can add information once you actually complete the installation. Here at the top, you can add customized fields. There's also a project file section that you're able to upload any files into the actual project. From here, you can just drag and drop into this little box right here. You can use file tags to organize your projects. And you can even use the sales tag, and there's actually 3 of them in here. If you tag your file with sales proposal, it will show on the PDF proposal to your customer. And if you use sales proposal equipment documentation, it will actually show on the online proposal to your customer. So those are very handy. From there, we can take a look at this energy tab right here. The energy tab is where you're going to enter all the information pertaining to the usage that your customer does right now. We have different methods that you can use to enter in your customer usage. I always advise that the monthly consumption is the best one, just because you can actually specify how much your customer is using on a monthly basis. So you can enter them in here. Of course, if you don't have the monthly consumption, we do have other options that you can select from. For example, by monthly consumption, quarterly consumption. You can even enter in their bill as well as an estimate, or you can be as precise as hourly interval. But that would truly change how the usage is viewed in this little graph. All the way down here at the bottom, you have the tariff information. The system's going to make an educated guess based on the location of the home, what tariff it thinks that your customer would be on. But if it's not correct, you can always hit where it says select new tariff and just look by any other tariff. We have some fields here at the top that you can use to locate the tariff that you need. You can find it by the utility name, any keyword, as well as the sector right here. Next, we have the Design tab right here. Now, from the Design tab is where you're going to actually create your project. Here at OpenSolar, we have different modes that you can design in, and they're going to be right here in the corner. We have 3D, 2D, and manual mode. 3D is the best one that you can design in because your azimuth, your shade, your pitch is all going to be given to you. Now, 3D is not available in 100% of the states. So if it's ever not available, you can always use 2D, but that would be more of a manual input, and you're going to have to feed all that information into the system. We also have manual mode right here where you can actually build out a 3D module if one is not available. And we will go into more details on our Wednesday webinar where we will take a deep dive into everything regarding designing. 3D has already been applied and I'm going to leave it selected since it's the best one. Now we're going to use this little menu here on the left hand side. The summary tab will give you all the information for your system once there's something actually built. Your panel is where you're going to make a selection of what panel you want to use for your system. So let's go ahead and select this little drop down. These ones right here are your favorites, meaning the ones that you've used previously. You can always use this search bar at the top and search by any others. This will actually search our entire database. Once you see one that you want to work with, you can select it and it will become selected right here. To actually place down your panels, all you have to do is come into this plus panel right here. A little panel is going to attach itself to your cursor. And as you move it on top of the home, you're going to see that it's changing directions. And that's because of that azimuth and pitch being given already. So all you have to do to place down your panels is left click into the roof of the home. That will place down one panel. Or you can left click and drag, and that will actually add multiple panels onto your roof. So let's go ahead, add a few more in here. Perfect. If for any reason you ever want to take away any panels, you can click onto the panel and that will take it away, or you can click and drag. Perfect. So once your panel is selected, and you'll know that it's selected because the array will be highlighted in yellow. Here on the left-hand side, your menu will change because this is the menu associated with that specific array. Now from here, your azimuth and slope are already given, but you can always edit this right here if you want to. You can change the orientation of your panel. You can add gaps. You can also add a clearance if you're working on a ground mount. From here down, we also have this shading, which if I expand it, let's just move this view here to the side. All those green lines, that's where the sun is hitting your panel at a specific time of day. Now, we also have this little calendar here on the side that's going to actually give us the option that we can actually click in multiple times. And we're going to see that all those arrays are actually moving because that's where the sun is hitting that panel at that specific day and time. All right. Here on the top, we can actually see how the annual sun axis is. You can click anywhere outside of the actual view and then the shading will be taken out. You can left click onto the image and move it around as such. You can always left click and then you can select where it says focus here and it'll focus that section of the roof as well. Moving on in this little left hand side menu, next is the inverter that we have. To add an inverter, you have to do is select plus inverter right here. You're going to have a little drop down just like we did for the panel. That drop down will take you into your favorites, and there's also a bar for you to search through our entire database. From here, you'll be able to select whichever inverter you want to work with. Once you find the one that you need, just hit select and it will be added onto your project. Next, we have the battery. To add a battery, same as we saw with the inverter, you select plus battery right here. We have our little drop down, and then you can select any battery that you want to see. Next, we have the other components. If you have any other components added into your control, you can select plus component right here, and then you're going to be given that list of other components. Now we also have the iron rich integration in here, which you can use to get your bill of materials. Next, we have our pricing tab. This is where all the pricing for your project will happen. First, you need to select the pricing scheme that you want to use. These are all set up in the control from the actual project. You're just making selections of them. Right here, we have the price per watt selected, which is coming up with our $27,000 that you see up here. If you want to use any costing scheme, you can select it right here. If you want to add any adders, you can do so by selecting there. And then we have a little breakdown all the way here. If you have any costs entering the control, they'll show in this cost section right here. If you do not, they'll show at 0. And then all the way down here, this is where you're going to see your pricing being broken down by sections. For example, your inverter and battery and how much that's adding, any battery adder that you have, any price adjustment that might be added, as well as any dealer fee if you're working with a loan. Next, we have the incentive tabs. From this tab, you can actually set up any incentive that has been claimed by the installer or customer. Of course, any default incentives will be automatically added onto your project, but you can always override this incentive selection, make any other selection that you might want, or take away any if you don't want any of them to apply. From there, we have the payment options all the way down here. Any default payment option will be automatically added itself onto the project. You can always override the default payments right here. Take off whichever ones you do not want to show, and then just keep the ones that you do want to show. Once you're happy with your first system option, let's say you want to show a second system option to your customer, you can come all the way here to the bottom where it says add new system. From here, you can duplicate the system or add a new one. I'm going to go ahead and hit duplicate because I want that same system and I'm just going to make minimal changes to them. From here, let's say you can go into your panels and change the panel that's being shown to your customer. So for example, let's change it to this Panasonic one. And then I don't want to show a battery for that second option. So I can definitely select that off. In a few seconds, now I have two different system options to show to my customer. Next, we're going to take a look at these views here at the bottom. Right now, the only view that has been selected is 3D. But let's say, for example, I do not want to show 3D to my customer. I can actually add a second view right here. And let's go ahead and add a Google Top. Perfect. So now I have my Google Top right here. I can actually go back into that 3D view and I can select off that show customer toggle. That means that I do not want to show that to my customer. Let's actually turn this around. Perfect. All right, so now I have my views, I have my system options. I'm happy with everything that has been set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And let's take a look at that online proposal. So the online proposal, it's a white label that you can truly customize to your needs, to who you guys are as a brand. So first off, your customer is going to be welcomed by this little pop-up. You can customize it to say something about you and who you guys are as a company. From there, we're actually taken into this online proposal. The view that you've selected to show to your customer will be right here, but you can hit the customize view and you can add more views or edit whichever you want to show to your customer. You can move the image to exactly where you want to place that image. You can zoom in or out just to truly customize what your customer is seeing. So here in the side, you're going to have your system options. Let's go ahead and close that. So your customer can actually change from within the system options and everything on the proposal will change with it as well. So as you can see here at the top, we have 4 custom figures that you can customize and you can show something else. Next, we have the system hardware. For example, if I were to select the one with the battery, as you can see, the battery will be shown here versus the one that doesn't have a battery, it won't show the battery. From there, we have the system performance right here, how much energy is being given by the solar, how your customer is actually using that energy on a per month basis, how much is being generated versus how much is being consumed, which is the gray area at the back. You can add a link to any video of your company so your customer can see who you guys are as a brand. Next time we have environmental benefits, electricity bill savings. The cool thing with this is that if you actually select a loan option, it'll show your customer how much they'll be paying for a bill as well as how much they'll be paying for the loan. And they can make a quick comparison based to how much they were paying before. In here, you can see a detailed savings table broken down by month, how much they're consuming, how much is being generated, the bill before as well as the bill after, and how much they're saving on a monthly basis. Those monthly savings will actually translate to yearly savings, and they'll add up to 25 years right here, which would be the lifetime bill savings that you see. Now, in here, it's broken down by, how much your customer is saving, how much they're paying for the system, and how much they're actually saving in the long run. If we change between the system as well as if we change between the payment options, everything will be changed. You can see the annual breakdown right here, and it will show you everything on how everything's being calculated. Down here, we also have the quotation table, which, as I mentioned before, will be changed depending on the payment options as well as the system options that have been selected. For example, a loan will show all the information for the loan so your customer can actually know what's being charged of them. Versus a cash would be a little more simplified. And then if you have any payment milestones set up in the control, they'll show in here as well. All the way down, we also have how your system works. If I look at the one with the battery, it'll show how everything's distributed with a battery. And then they can see with generating excess solar, partially offset usage, as well as in the middle of the night. You can add your customer testimonials in here. You can also add pictures to show your previous installs. And all the way at the bottom, you will have a download proposal, which you can download your proposal and take it with you wherever you go. You can either hit download proposal or hit PDF proposal. The PDF proposal tab will actually show you a little preview of what that download proposal will look like. Perfect. So once you've reviewed your system, you're happy with what you design, you could select the send proposal to your customer. You can review the message that they're going to receive with their link. You can hit customize if you're not happy with it or you want to customize whatever's in here. If you're happy with it, you can confirm and send proposal. This will actually send your proposal to your customer. Your customer will open their link. They're going to take a look at it. They're going to review the system options and payment options that you selected for them. Once they see the one that they want to go with, they can select recess accept proposal. From here, they'll be taken to the quotation table one more time so they know everything that's going on. They'll be taken to their terms and condition, which they can expand and just read through them carefully. And all the way at the bottom, they can accept those contracts that you've set up, and then they can fulfill the signature right here and confirm. Once your customer confirms whatever payment and system option they want to go with, the system options and payment options will be taken away, and then the only ones that will be stated are the ones that they selected to go with. From there, we can take a look at the Manage tab right here. The Manage tab will be tied to your CRM. In here, you have your different stages that the project can be in. Once you're done designing your project, you can move it to the selling stage. And then here will actually be some action that your teammates can actually check off after doing them. Here on the side, you have the assigned team member, the assigned inspector, as well as installer. You can restrict the access to this project. You can plan a task. You can set a different event. Like let's say, for example, you want to set up a call. You can add notes. You can assign it to someone. Let's say I'm going to assign it to myself. You can place when it will take place, what time it will take place, how long it's going to be for, and what's the status of the actual task. You can state a contact person, so who we're going to contact in here. And then you can actually set team members to be notified that this needs to happen. You can do the same thing with the appointment. Let's just exit out of here. You can add, you can select plus appointment right here and add the same information that we did for the task. And then the task will actually show all the way down here. In here, we have a project history, which will detail the entire history of your project. So once you send your proposal to your customer, it will show it here as well as the message that you sent to them. It will also show when your customer opens their proposal and how long they viewed it for, and it will show once they accept the proposal. So this is very useful information for you to make sure that you're calling your customer and you make sure you're closing that sale. Perfect. The last zone that we'll take a look at is the control zone right here. So let me go ahead and save and continue. So make sure everything that I created was saved. So as soon as you go into your control, you're going to be taken into your little dashboard. From here, you're going to have some stats for the company. You're also going to have some activity down here, as well as your client's activity. As you can see right here, you can see that the accept proposal is showing, and that's the one that we just did. So this little menu here on the left-hand side, this is how you're going to navigate the control zone. From the company, you have the business information. So the business information will outline all your information for your company. You can actually set. Next, we have our team section right here where you can add your teammates into your actual company. You can set up custom roles or what each person has access to. You can also add business processes right here, like for example, project actions, which are those actions that we saw in the manage tab, as well as any project tags. You can manage them in here. You can also set up your settings in here. Pricing and payment, this is where you're going to set up your pricing for your system. So your pricing scheme, how your system's going to be priced, of course, and you can add a new pricing scheme by coming here. Any cost scheme can also be created in here by selecting the new costing scheme right here. You can add an adder library, meaning those pricings that you do regularly, you can add them in the backend so they can be selected from the project. The payment options will show how your customer will pay for their projects. Here at the top, we also have the financial integrations that we're partnered with. If you want to integrate any of them, just hit the learn more right here, and it will prompt us to make that integration for you. You can also set up commissions in here. Design and hardware, this is where you're going to set up your favorites or the actual modules, inverter, battery, and other components your team members will be using. From here, you can select Add from Database. This will actually be a view of your favorites, not our entire database. So you just click Add from Database. And then from here, it'll take a second to load, but there's going to be a little browser in here, which you can look up by the model number, and you can add anything from our database to your favorites. You're going to have the same view for the inverter, battery, as well as other components. You can set your setbacks as well as a battery control scheme right here. Next, we have the purchase experience. This is where your proposal template is going to live. So in here, you can have as many proposal templates as you want. And then you can also come here into the plus proposal template and just create a new one. Same thing goes for your contract template. You can have multiple templates in here. You just have to select where it says add contract, and you can actually create a new one. Checkout experience, this is where the information for that checkout is going to live. From here, you can actually set up the Stripe integration, which is our credit card integration. Lastly, we have this little support icon here in the corner, which from there you can select where it says Visitor Help Center. Once you click on it, it'll actually take you to our help center. Right here, you can use this little search bar to use keywords and find anything that you might need to. Now, you can also take a look at our training package. This is amazing as you're getting started. It will actually give you a lot of videos in here to familiarize yourself with the platform. Don't forget to tune in to their Wednesday webinar where we'll take a deep dive into the design section, as well as the Thursday webinar where we'll take a look into the control and everything that can be set up in the control. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
OpenSolar.